An 8-year-old Peter is a perfectly normal kid, perhaps a little more introverted than his peers. But Peter has a secret. At night, he hears the voice of a girl coming from behind the wall of his room. Peter's parents say that this is just a product of their son's imagination. Peter, on the contrary, is convinced that his nocturnal companion is real. The girl is telling Peter that he's in danger and that his parents are not the nice people they're pretending to be. Many horrors have a child as the protagonist, but life shows that this choice is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, a child is by far more helpless than a grown-up, and his or her confrontation with evil evokes a stronger emotional response. But on the other hand, when making a child-centered horror, creators are often tempted to render the story less dark and brutal and cut some corners. This turns out to be a big mistake, because the very idea of a horror for kids is a compromise and self-deception. The characters should be scared not because they're children that tremble at any noise, but because they are in real danger and have fewer chances to save themselves. The brothers Duffer, with their Stranger Things, and Andres Muschietti, who stands behind the remake of Stephen King's It, know this perfectly well. Director Samuel Bodin and screenwriter Chris Thomas Devlin, the creators of Cobweb, have successfully avoided the common pitfalls of child-centered horror. Peter is not just the protagonist of the film. He is the viewer's eyes, ears, and heart. It feels like we're living Peter's story together with him. This feeling is encouraged not only by the plot, but also by the visuals, sound effects, and storytelling in general. For example, Peter lives in a disproportionately big room, which suggests how a lonely little boy might be perceiving a normal-sized room. The movie is packed with perfectly crafted shots that create an impression that rather than watching a film, we're leafing through intricate illustrations in a book of scary tales. The little Woody Norman in the role of Peter is a true gem. Lizzy Caplan and Anthony Starr, who play his parents, deliver equally credible performances. Throughout the film, the mysterious voice from behind the wall is persuading Peter that his parents are not who they're trying to appear. Caplan and Starr, each in their own way, infuse their respective characters with a subtle sense of danger, making us believe in terrible monsters lurking behind their friendly facades. A vague irrational fear of one's parents is rather common among kids, and the creators of Cobweb have managed to capture that feeling on screen. The movie takes long to gain momentum and arrive to horror action. But what's interesting about this prolonged setup is that it keeps us wondering who Peter should trust, his parents or the nocturnal voice. On top of that, the action is definitely worth waiting for. Without being excessively graphic, Cobweb relies on abruptness, speed, and brutality. This striking combination makes you sit through the last 20 minutes of the film with your jaw on the floor. And although Cobweb is by no means a unique story, it's a great example of how you can take traditional horror elements and serve them with such efficiency, elegance, and love for the horror genre that the viewer would just want to enjoy the film, instead of dissecting it.